Fog Racing back with another career mode part here on F122, and we've got two races in one. It is Zandvoort and then it is Monza. And of course, if you're not aware, these are actually the two next races in real life, but we're here in qualifying. In Zandvoort, it's got a nice flow to it, but at the end of the day, I absolutely had a shiter. I mean, we do squeeze through in P15, but out of the tracks, I'd probably say it's with Hungary, even though I would expect to go well at these tracks. It just haven't really exactly went well. But here we go into Q3, or was it Q2? I can't. No, fuck, it was Q2. We got knocked out. P11, or well, P12. But good thing is at this stage of the season, it's a bit unrealistic. But there seems just to be grid penalties every fucking race, and you're guaranteed to go up about 5 spots. But I guess it doesn't really bother me. I mean, we're yet to take a grid penalty, but maybe we'll take it at a track with a good chance of overtaking. But as you can see, we're starting on the medium tyre. We're starting in P9 with Bottas, Gasly, Magnussen and Fernando ahead of us. But it's a very fun track, Zandvoort. I like it. I like the addition, and it's up next, and apparently there could be rain scheduled for the weekends. Looking forward to that. But we managed to get up to P8 at the start. Lap 2, you see, you try different lines, but you just have literally no pace. But Bottas has a bit of a moment, so we managed to overtake him, and due to that we now close right up to the back of Kevin Magnussen, and then we overtake him. And I was thinking at this stage, fuck, if we got a bit of pace in this car, because things are looking toasty. And then next up is Fernando in P5, and then quickly, sooner rather than later, we're in the DRS. Even though he's got DRS on Sergio Perez, we managed to get the DRS and hang it right round the outside. Move up to P5. Alonso does a good job, but we just get the much better run there. But it's at this point the tyres just, like, once they get into a certain temperature window, you just lose a lot of pace. Moving on to lap 13, with a lot of drivers up our ass, with Alonso, Magnussen, so to speak. Got Russell and Perez about 10 seconds down the road, and with rain later on to be scheduled to start falling. Hopefully it can come soon enough. But as you can look at the skies, man, the skies are pretty dark. But Fernando is thinking of a fucking load of moves here, but it's not happening. We defend, but I think if Carlos Sainz gets past Fernando, it could be a different ball game. But we've got Alonso and Sainz still behind us here on lap 15. Just at this stage, the tyres are dead. The tyres are absolutely dead. And then weather report, 5 minutes until rainfall, which is not what you like to see. But the tyres at this point are done. You're just, at this point, I'm just praying for a fucking one stop onto the wet compound of the Inters. But Leclerc's pitted, he's actually come out ahead. Yes, Carlos Sainz, again, he's done pretty well. Both Mercs starting on the hard tyres, kind of foreseeing the rain coming, which was very smart from them. But we're actually battling Carlos Sainz here. But I mean, you're kind of just holding on to a dead dream. We managed to, like, defend rather well against them there. We dive into the pits though on lap 20. At this stage it is time for Inter, so we actually managed to do 20 laps on the mediums. Very good strategy, and it means and Perez came up behind us as well, so it means we've actually jumped up to P4. So a very, very entertaining and action-packed week here as we come out in the race on the Inters. Hopefully we can get to the end. Moving on though, we've got some back markers down the straight, and Nicholas Latifi, or is it Albon? I think it might be Albon, just smashes straight into the back of an AlphaTauri. Absolute chaos here in the wet. Fucking don't really know what was going on. Massive crash. Even the Red Bull's thinking what the fuck's going on there, but brought out the safety car with 10 laps to go. And what the shit thing is about this, guys, the footage cut, and we actually finished P2. Leclerc actually clipped us and fucking binned it. So there is the results, as you can see. Leclerc DNFing, not good for the big man there. But as you see in the drivers, I mean, he still has such a gap as we move into Monza here. But as you can see, we are in Q1, and we actually do a decent lap. But look at this, George Russell straight into the back of the Red Bull. And as you see, we actually got P5 there in Q1. Bottas in the Alpha, showing that Ferrari straight line speed advantage, doing a pretty good job. Moving into Q2, both McLarens through, so we're through to the top 10 shootout, which feels like a while. Feels like a proper while that we've actually made it through, like. But it's all about this lap. As you can see, we get one lap to do it, run the parabolica. We do run wide, but we still manage to hold on to just a bit wide. I mean, you get a decent run regardless, like, so hopefully that is what it is. And across the line, we managed to go P2, 4 tenths down on Carlos Sainz. Ferrari just looking a league of their own this weekend. But as you can see, Leclerc just couldn't get it together and qualifies P4. Very disappointing for him, but we've got a very mixed up grid coming, so don't you worry about it, because let's dive into the starting grid. Yet again, we have another massively mixed up grid, and this one's probably one of the biggest mixed up grids we've got. So, I mean, Max in the front row isn't exactly a mixed up grid, but, well, I mean, us being up there. But, I mean, I guess we showed the pace. Then we've got our teammate in third, Fernando Alonso in P4, Bottas fifth, Carlos Sainz, who stuck it on poles, in sixth. Then it's Lance Stroll, then it's Sergio Perez, then it's Charles Leclerc with a penalty, Hamilton with a penalty, Mick Schumacher with a penalty, Alexander Albon with a penalty. We've got Tsunoda and Latifi with penalties, and then we've got Guan Yu Zhou and Russell with penalties, and other drivers behind them with penalties. But here we go, 27 laps at the tempo of speed. It is the fastest track on the calendar, so hopefully we get a good start. We are starting on the hard compound tyre. I thought we'd change it up a bit, start on the slow compound, and then see what we can do. But immediately at the start, Max jumps us, and at this point I'm thinking, fuck, maybe not the best ideas. But then we late break it, we bounce over the curbs, we damage the underside of the car, and then we smash straight into Max. It was probably the worst possible fucking start you could have got. In turn, it did put Norris into the lead, brings out the safety car as we get stuck in the car with Max. We pit for the mediums, and now essentially we're doing the exact same strategy that we would have done, but instead of starting first, we're starting P19, and Mick Schumacher got a disqualification throughout all that. So as you can see, the safety car is coming at the end of this lap with Ocon, Guan Yu Zhou and Magnussen all ahead of us. And at this point I thought, I mean, what is the best? We're in a car that can definitely compete for the podium, but when you're starting down in 19th, it's always going to be tough. But talking about tough, we'd just dive bomb Magnussen and Guan Yu Zhou. If you take this corner wide here, look at the fucking run you can get. You get a great initial run, but then like the second phase, look at that. I mean, look, that just shows you what the AI is overpowered. You just cannot compete with the second phase of the lift. But we've got Gasly and Ocon ahead of us, and it's going to be a crucial manoeuvre here. As we get past Ocon, we managed to overtake Ocon and Latifi, and that is us up into P14 with Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton ahead of us. So Vettel jobbed out, just again doing what we do best, around the outside of turn 2. And just pray that we're left enough room. But moving on to lap 5, we try and hang around the outside of Hamilton through the parabolica. We've got Albon up next, almost destroy a front wing on him, and now Hamilton trying to overtake us. He slots in behind Albon and Yuki Tsunoda up next. We're actually almost back in the points here on lap 6, but Hamilton getting a great slipstream. But the amount of floor damage that we've just sustained, it is affecting us. You can't spin that either way, like, you know, we late break it. Do not know how we did not damage the car there. We hang it round, we managed to get Albon. Moving on, we get Tsunoda pretty easily. Lap 7 at the end of this straight, we've got Stroll, Russell and Alonso battling. We hang it round the outside, get Lance Stroll. We're flying at this point. Fernando up next, he thought about a move on Russell. Well, I think about a move on you, son. Again, nearly take the front wing off, but it doesn't matter because we're up to P8. And then moving on to lap 10, we're flying at this point, man. Even with a car that's like, the side pods are practically falling off it. We overtake George Russell for P7 and we're flying. Up next though, it's the Ferrari powered cars, and they're going to be a bastard. But as you can see, an AlphaTauri ran wide here, and they actually just brought the safety car. Very, very weird. But as you can see, we get held up in the pit lane here, and it's an absolute fun. And look at that, like, look at that, fucking held up behind Ocon, man. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. We actually managed to come in P9 behind Alonso, Hamilton, Verstappen. Not ideal. And then the safety car comes out on what, lap 15, so we've got 12 laps to go. Everyone's on the same strategy, which is a bit shite. And then Alonso blasts past us here, but not exactly flying here because Alonso. But then look at that, second phase again. But down the straight, Alonso's just out dragging us with that Alpine engine. But we're sitting in behind him. We've got him and Hamilton. And again, we late break it. We actually managed to get as far up as Leclerc. I mean, the AI, again, you've got to... I just like them to fix stuff like that. I mean, I know it is hard, but... You know, I mean, talk about hard. Look at that Ferrari car, man. Absolutely annihilating us He literally pulled about 4 tenths just out of the corner alone on us. And in the slipstream, we can't even get close enough. And then the sad thing is, guys, Lando Norris, our teammate, was leading the race. Lap 20, his engine went. I mean, would he have been able to hold off the Ferraris? I mean, he might have been. But, you know, he may not have been able to. Moving on, though, to lap 23. And then Charles Leclerc, but a lap later, bins it. Championship leader Leclerc, for 2 races in a row, has binned it. And yet is leading the championship still pretty not that big. But we're moving on to lap 26. Verstappen overtakes us for P2. Ferrari, like I said, too good, but I try to stick close to Verstappen, end up sticking my front wing, doing his rear wing, and then we've got Valtteri Bottas and Kevin Magnussen right behind me. We have a car here that's properly disintegrating, trying to defend as good as we can, but it's just no happening. In the turn one, you've got to take it easy with no wing, but even us, we managed to fuck that up. But we managed to hold on to P2 for now, but moving on, Bottas overtakes it. And at this point, it just turns into proper wacky races. We try and overtake Bottas. Magnussen drives into the side of us, and then he loses his front wing. Bottas sitting at a P2 here probably deserves it. We're a bit rough with him there, for being perfectly honest, as we head down the back strip. Look at that for Magnussen with the DRS open. You just can't compete with that, man, when the car's getting no wing. The 2 guys with no wings are pulling away for the rest of the pack, which is quite hard to believe. But we managed to get back in front of K-Mag, and that takes us to the line. But as you can see, just no downforce. Sainz wins the race by about 20 seconds. Absolutely insane stuff. And now with the final drag to the line, but Magnussen with so much straight line speed overtakes us. We cut across, we crash, going across the line, and we get P3. And I'm thinking at this stage, who the hell beat us for P3? And it turns out it's Magnussen, despite the fact that he smashes into us and we cross the line at the same time, but I'm in front of him. Do not know how it works, but it's Sainz for Magnussen, for ourselves, Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, Gasly, Ocon, Alonso, Perez, Albon, Shinoda, Vettel, and all that stuff. But as you can see, Leclerc still has a massive championship lead. We actually overtake Norris. I really feel bad for Norris, because he should have been at least on the podium, guys. At least.